Hey, welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I'm going to now talk about grading and using technology to help you with your letter. So one of the more popular software products is Grammarly, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you want help with your residency LOI, you can go to residencyhelp.com and you can see the details there and how to get in touch with me if you're interested. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my own revision through Grammarly, and it's going to give me like a B minus score because of the commas and that I didn't acknowledge the commas. And I wait to do this till the very end because there's so much moving around. So let's look at what Grammarly would do. So I've got clarity, engagement, and delivery. These are all good, but you can see that there's this bar doesn't go all the way to the right, and this bar doesn't go all the way to the right. So these progress bars are going to let me know that I need to deal with them. So I met your current residents, Dr. Dick Grayson and Dr. Shiera Sanders Hall, at the ASHP mid-year clinical meeting. I don't really think there needs to be a pause there, so I'll remove the punctuation recommendation there. Just so I can get my score up, I'm going to put the British comma. You don't have to, but it wants the comma at the end of research, teaching, community outreach, comma, and a challenging yet encouraging environment. Okay, and you can see that it recalculates my score as I'm doing this, as I'm adding commas. And so one comma gave me 5 points. Okay, and same thing here, the British comma. Population removing a comma. My plan is, that would be better or clearer to just say I plan. So I agree there. I have a master's in education and I served as a tutor for the past 2 years. You don't really need a comma there. To reduce medication errors in UC Medical Center. Yeah, I'm in the medical center. I'm not on it, so I'm not like on top of it. Okay. This conference, it doesn't understand what's going on with that 0000 conference, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Student-run clinics, and so if I just have this and this, I don't really need a comma. It says I do, but I don't. To serve the community, I organize health fairs and student-run clinics. Yeah, I guess I could put, and I'm eager to contribute to community outreach efforts. Clear milestones, and again, this is the British comma. And social chair, comma. This definitely, I should have put a comma there. And then second year, there should be a hyphen between second year students. We wanted to make first and second year students. That doesn't really require a comma because it's thinking I'm saying I wanted to do something first and then do something later, but that's not what I'm saying. And then the last one, visit your institution and thank you for considering my application. So I don't know that I would necessarily put a comma there because I'm just saying this and that. And you don't really need a comma between this and that. But I have to acknowledge it, throw it in the garbage, and what it'll do is it'll say my correctness, clarity, engagement, and delivery are good, and so forth. And so that's how you use Grammarly. But you notice that Grammarly doesn't tell you that you need to put things in certain orders and things like that, as you would with this clinical practice, research, leadership, teaching, and service. And honestly, with what I did, it actually goes, here's my long-term goal and my clinical experience, then my research, then my service. And so I really only addressed those three, and I probably would have just put clinical practice, research, and service. There was a little bit about teaching, so I might include there, but that's kind of up to you. Okay, but let's look at the grade. So this is the original LOI, and I have this software called Style Writer, and it's tough to see, but this is what it looks like. And all of these highlighted areas are just a way that I could go through each of these. And for me, it's just too slow to do that because I already write well and I don't need all of that. I can use it to check myself. But this is the original letter as it's written in there, and you can see that there's a couple of scores at the bottom. So there's 764 words. It gives a bog score of 62. You want a low bog score. What it's saying is that there's a lot of dense and long sentences in there. It's kind of hard to read. And it's not hard to read that the words weren't right. It's just the long sentences, the prepositional phrases, it takes all that together to give it that higher bog score. PEP is pretty related in that it just doesn't pop. It's solid information, but it's not conversational enough that it would get a high PEP score. It was excellent with passive voice, very little passive voice, just that one is demonstrated, which can easily be fixed. And then style 60, again, this is kind of getting nitpicky, just saying that there are some style errors that could be improved, that someone could improve to make it better. The sentence length, definitely one of the easiest things to improve on your LOI, and just cut the sentences in half. Jargon is going to be something you can't really do much about. It says 2.7%. That's fair. It actually should be even higher as soon as you put in very detailed examples of what you did clinically and what you did as a researcher and so forth. Glue, concise. Yeah, there's not a lot of extra words. That's what this yellow is, the of the students from each of the classes, one of those. And it's connecting parts of sentences in such a way that it's just way too many words and you can just get rid of them without any loss of meaning. And then grade 16, difficult. While you do want to write at a high level, this is a conversational piece. You should really be writing around the 11th or 12th grade. So you're not so far as to say, I'm a middle school student writing an essay in kind of a stream of consciousness, but you also don't want to get this difficult where it's just the resident is tired or the RPD is tired. They don't want to read dense academic literature. They just want you to speak to them through writing and say, this is why I want this residency site. This is the evidence that I am qualified for the site, and so forth. Okay? And so let's go to mine. And this is what mine looks like, and we'll bring this over here. And you can see I don't have any of that shading or anything like that. My bog score is 31, which is good. My PEP is 14, which is good. My passive is 0, which is excellent. You shouldn't have any passive voice. Style is 2, which is excellent. Sentence length is around 16.8, which is excellent. So I cut it in half, basically. Jargon at 3%, nothing you can do there, fair. Made it concise with less glue. And then the grade is right there at the 11th grade, right between 11th and 12th grade where you want it. So, my grade is such a way that someone is going to read this, and it's just a lot easier to read. And you can even just see that it's a lot less dense and that I've used smaller sentences. Now, my recommendation would be to actually expand this 436 words. Unless it's a one-pager that you're forced to write only one page, I would start expanding this. And now I would start putting my research examples, my clinical examples are two that really could use a little bit more. They want to be an educator, maybe show about how you helped a particular student. But you can now you have room to add good information, detailed information that separates you from the other candidates. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of critique of the letter. Please, please don't use that letter as your foundation, copy and paste it into a paper and then start from there. Please go to residencyhelp.com. We've got a free template that you can put your own original thoughts into without having to copy it. And even coming from the best school, there's always room for improvement. So again, it's a real passion for me to provide these free videos and things because I am a first-generation college student. My original language wasn't English. I was fortunate enough to have a mom who just hammered, proper English over the years, and now I'm hoping to pay it forward and help you guys. All right, have a good weekend.